So we're continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. We're on Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 11. So we were hearing yesterday how the sages of Naimisharanya, they're so compassionate to the general people, for us. They were doing this 1,000-year sacrifice for us, for our benefit. And they're putting this question to Suta Goswami, that what is to be done for the general welfare of everyone at all times. Bhurini bhuri karmani
Bhurini bhuri
Puri
karmani
karmani
shrotavyani vibhagasha
shrotavyani vibhagasa
atha sadhotra yatsaram
atah sadhutra yat saram
samudritya manishaya
samudritya
samudritya manisaya
bhuri bhadraya bhutana
Druhi bhadraya bhutana
yenatma suprasiddhati.
yenatma suprasiddhati.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Would someone like to read?
I can read.
Please.
Translation. There are many varieties of scriptures, and in all of them, there are many prescribed duties, which can be learned only after many years of study in their various divisions. Therefore, O sage, please select the essence of all these scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings, that by such instruction their hearts may be fully satisfied. Purport. Atma or self is distinguished from matter and material elements. It is spiritual in constitution and thus it is never satisfied by any amount of material planning. All scriptures and spiritual instructions are meant for the satisfaction of the self or Atma. There are many varieties of approaches which are recommended for different types of living beings in different types and in different times and at different places. Consequently, the numbers of revealed scriptures are innumerable. There are different methods and prescribed duties recommended in these various scriptures, taking into consideration the fallen condition of the people in general. In this age of Kali, the sages of Naimisharanya suggested that Sri Suta Goswami relate the essence of all such scriptures because in this age it is not possible for the fallen souls to understand and undergo all the lessons of all these various scriptures in a Varna and Ashrama system.
So here the sages are saying that because there are so many revealed scriptures, Krishna comes himself, or he sends his incarnations, expansions, or his confidential devotees time and time again and gives us this teachings, tells us to come back home, back to Godhead. But the teachings are appropriate to time, place, and circumstance, as the audience are able to understand it. Like, for example, if we are going to teach someone who's in fourth grade, the subject matter of math will be different to someone we are teaching, someone who's studying the PhD of math. So, like this, there are many revealed scriptures, and and so the sages are asking, what is the essence of all these scriptures? Because they just said the qualification of ours in this age of Kali is we have no qualification, right? We are lazy, unfortunate, misguided, quarrelsome. So in that, they are saying, what's the essence? Because the people of Kali Yuga won't be able to understand what to do, what not to do. So just in very so you've studied all these scriptures, and what is the essence of all these scriptures? Kindly tell us. This is what they're asking. So for our benefit.
The The wrong and the Varna and Ashrama society was considered to be the best institution for lifting the human being to the spiritual platform. But due to Kali Yuga, it is not possible to execute the rules and regulations of these institutions, nor is it possible for the people in general to completely savor relations with their families as the Varnashrama institution prescribes. The whole atmosphere is surcharged with opposition, and considering this, one can see that spiritual emancipation for the common man in this age is very difficult. The reason the sages presented this matter to Sri Suta Goswami is explained in the following verses.
Because in Vedic system, the society was so divided according to varnas and ashram, and by following in the duties of varna and ashram, one could be elevated to spiritual life. One, it's the varna sharma system was like a stepping stone to begin spiritual. So now the sages know Kali Yuga is going to come, and it's going to be very difficult for people to follow the instructions of Varna ashram. Not only very difficult, that it may be impossible for us to follow all the rules and regulations which are mentioned for each Varna and ashram. And so that's why they're asking now that for each and every one, because there may be some very few, selected few who may be able to do it. But what about the common man? What about each and every one of us? How could we get spiritual realization? So for the general welfare of everyone, they are putting this question to Sutta Goswami. We can see how compassionate and how much forward thinking they are, like what kind of their thoughts are so good that they're trying to understand, oh, Kali Yuga is going to come, and how the general man in Kali Yuga can get spiritual perfection. So going on to text 12, Suta Janasi Bhadram Te
Sota Janyasi Bhadram Te
Bhagavan Satvatam Pati
Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Sarvatam
Satvatam Pati
Pati
Devakyam Vasudevasya
Devakyam
Devokyam
Vasudevasya
Vasudevasya
Jato Yasya Chikirshaya
Jato
Jato
Yatya
Yatya
Chikitaya
Chikitaya. Translation. All blessings upon you, O Suta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva. Purport. Bhagavan means the Almighty God who is the controller of all opulence, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. He is the protector of his pure devotees. Although God is equally disposed to everyone, he is specially inclined to his devotees. Sat means the absolute truth, and persons who are the servitors of the absolute truth are called Satvatas. And the personality of Godhead who protects such pure devotees is known as the protector of Satvatas. Bhadram Te, or blessings upon you, indicates the sage's anxiety to know the absolute truth from the speaker. Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared to Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. Vasudeva is a symbol of the transcendental position wherein the appearance of the Supreme Lord takes place.
So here they are asking, please tell us this reason. You know the personality of Godhead. So they know Krishna is God. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva. So Srila Prabhupada is saying Bhagwan means one who has all the opulences in full. In full. We may have these opulences to a certain degree. Someone may have it to a higher degree. But nobody has these opulences completely. Completely. And the opulences are, what are the opulences?
Power, fame,
Power,
beauty, knowledge,
faith,
and realization.
knowledge, renunciation.
Yes, thank you. And God, He loves His devotees because the devotees, God loves everyone. Each and everyone is part and parcel of God. But what happens is because the devotees want to reciprocate, they want to have this loving relationship with God, then God also wants to have the relationship with them. He's not partial to anyone, just like a kind father. Kind father loves all his children, but there may be a particular child who wants to spend more time with the father. So automatically the father will spend more time with that child. So that is the position of God. And he's known as Sat, absolute truth. Absolute truth, Sat. And persons who are servitors of the absolute truth are called Sattvatas. So the servants of God, Sattvatas. And of course, God, Bhagwan, he is very much inclined to protect his devotees. They are very dear to him. Very dear. So that's why he's called protector of the Sattvatas. Now, Bhadram Te, Prabhupada is saying blessings upon you because they want Sutta Goswami to be able to explain to them about the absolute truth. That's why they are saying, okay, we bless you so you can tell us about the absolute truth. And in Caitaniya Caritamita, Srila Prabhupada also mentions that on this Vasudev platform, that's the transcendental position. That is not material, it's the spiritual platform. Vasudev is also the father of Krishna, but Vasudev platform is the platform of Shuddha Sattva, of pure goodness. So that is a spiritual platform. So God appears from the spiritual platform. He appears by his own internal potency, not material, transcendental. His appearance is transcendental. His form is transcendental. It's all transcendental. So going on to 13, Tanna Shushrushamananam.
Tanna
Tanna
Shushushmananam.
Arhasi Anganuvarnitum.
Arhasi
Arhasi
Anganuvarnitum.
Anganuvarnitum.
Yasyavataro Bhutanam.
Yasya Avataru Bhutanam.
Bhutanam.
Hemaya cha Bhavaya cha.
Shemaya cha
Himaya cha
Bhavaya
Bhavaya
cha.
cha. Translation. O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters, Acharya, for one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them. Purport. The conditions for hearing the transcendental message of the Absolute Truth are set forth herein. The first condition is that the audience must be very sincere and eager to hear, and the speaker must be in the line of disciplic succession from the recognized Acharya. The transcendental message of the Absolute is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed. Under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, one becomes gradually purified. Therefore, one must be in the chain of disciplic succession and learn the spiritual art of submissive hearing. In the case of Suta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya, all these conditions are fulfilled because Srila Suta Goswami is in the line of Srila Vyasadeva, and the sages of Naimisharanya are all sincere souls who are anxious to learn the truth. Thus, the transcendental topics of Lord Shri Krishna's superhuman activities, his incarnation, his birth, appearance or disappearance, his forms, his names, and so on, all are easily understandable because all requirements are fulfilled. Such discourses help all men on the path of spiritual realization.
So, what are the qualifications now? Prabhupada is saying, what are the conditions of hearing the spiritual knowledge? What is the condition? How should be this audience?
Sincere.
The qualification of the audience. Huh?
They should be very sincere and eager to hear.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Sincere and eager. That's the qualification of the audience. And what should be the qualification of the speaker?
He should be in the disciplic succession.
Line of
Yes,
succession.
that's right. So both have to have this qualification. The speaker should be in the line of disciplic succession. So that, because he has the perfect knowledge, the as it is, the knowledge as it is. So he can give the knowledge as it is. And the qualification of the hearer, we also need to be sincere and eager to hear. Then both of them are qualified. And in thus such a way, the spiritual knowledge can be understood. And so Suta Goswami, how come he's saying he's qualified? Because
He falls in line of Srila Vyasadeva.
that's right. Yeah. And the sages of Naimisharanya, how are they qualified?
They are sincere and anxious souls. They want to learn the truth.
Yeah, that's right. They're sincere. They want to learn the truth. What is the truth? They don't have already a fixed mind that, okay, whatever you say, but I have my own belief and my own faith, and that's what I'm going to think. No, they want to hear. What's the truth? Who is the truth? Please tell us. We want to know. We don't know. We want to know. So this is submissive, anxious, eagerness, because we may have our own fixed thinking. No, that it should be like this. God should be like this. God should not be like this. But that is not submissive. We need to accept what the acharyas are telling us about the absolute truth. And then this transcendental knowledge will be understandable. So going on to 14, apana samsritim ghoram.
Apana samsritim ghoram.
Yannama vibhasho grinan.
Yannama vivashukranam.
Tata sadyo vimuchyeta.
Tatha
Satya
sadyo
satyo
vimuchyeta.
vimuchyeta.
Yad vibheti swayam vayam.
Yat
Yat
viveti
viveti
swayam
swayam
vayam.
vayam. Anyone else wants to continue?
Can I read?
Please, please.
Thank you. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated, meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Purport. Vasudev, or Lord Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the supreme controller of everything. There is no one in creation who is not afraid of the rage of the Almighty. Great asuras like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, and others who were very powerful living entities were all killed by the personality of Godhead. And the Almighty Vasudev has empowered his name with the powers of his personal self. Everything is related to him, and everything has its identity in him. It is stated herein that the name of Krishna is feared even by the fear personified. This indicates that the name of Krishna is not different from Krishna. Therefore, the name of Krishna is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. There is no difference at all. Anyone, therefore, can take advantage of the holy name of Lord Sri Krishna, even in the midst of the greatest dangers. The transcendental name of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances, can help one obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death.
So here, how to get free from birth and death, chanting the holy name. Complicated meshes. We are so entangled in this material world, we are not able to understand. And the only way we can disentangle ourselves is chant the holy name. So the supreme controller, we all have this ability to control to a certain degree. We can control whatever to our field of activities. We have certain control. But the supreme controller, that is the absolute personality of Godhead, the supreme truth, that is Lord Krishna. He is the supreme controller. So when we are saying control and controller, there's a person. He's the supreme person, and he controls everything. Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 29, that Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He's the supreme controller. So we may think that, no, well, I can handle things myself. I can handle things myself. But what in a situation which we are not able to handle, instinctively we will turn to a higher power. That's very instinct, just like a child will cry for his parents when he's in danger. So when things are under our control, we are like, wow, it's good. Why do I need God? But there may be circumstances in our life where the situation is beyond us. By instinct, we turn to God because this is an eternal relationship, soul and God. And even if someone may not want to accept it, agree it, but it's there. It's eternal, so it can never be broken. So the name of God is God himself. It's the absolute platform. Krishna has put all his powers in his name. Shikshashtaka Lord Chaitanya says, that, oh Lord, all you have hundreds and millions of names, and all these are this is Krishna himself. But we are so unfortunate that we have no taste for chanting. We have no desire to chant. But the name of Krishna is Krishna, non-different from Krishna. So just as Krishna is the supreme power, his name is all-powerful. The name of God. So anyone can chant anywhere, everywhere, and one can get out of this material world of birth and death. Yadpad Samshaya Sutta
Yad padashamsaya suta
Munaya Prashamayana
muniya prashamayana
Sadhya Punnanti Prishta
sadhya punnanti upshrishta
Svardhuni Apunu Sevaya.
swadhurni apo anusevaya.
O Sutta. I'm sorry, please wait.
Yeah. O Suta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganga can sanctify only after prolonged use. Purport. Pure devotees of the Lord are more powerful than the waters of the sacred river Ganga. One can derive spiritual benefits out of the prolonged use of the Ganga water, but one can be sanctified at once by the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that any person, regardless of his birth as Shudra, women, or merchant, can take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and by so doing can return to Godhead. To take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord means to take shelter of the pure devotees. The pure devotees whose only business is serving are honored by the names Prabhupada and Vishnupad, which indicates such devotees to be representative of the lotus feet of the Lord. Anyone, therefore, who takes shelter of the lotus feet of a pure devotee by accepting the pure devotee as his spiritual master can be at once purified. Such devotees of the Lord are honored equally with the Lord because they are engaged in the most confidential service of the Lord. For they deliver out of the material world the fallen souls whom the Lord wants to return home back to Godhead. Such pure devotees are better known as wise lords, according to revealed scriptures. The sincere disciple of the pure devotee considers the spiritual master equal to the Lord, but always considers himself to be a humble servant of the Lord. This is the pure devotional path.
So the sages are continuing to speak to Sutta that taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So Ganga water. Ganga water is very pure. She's pure because she has washed the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And that's why she's pure. And one can get purified by bathing in the Ganga water. But what happens is one needs to the purification happens after a very long time because the inclination to sin doesn't go away. One may go bathe in the Ganges, come back, but the desire to sin continues. So even, okay, all the sins are washed away. So one comes back and then one may continue to sin. So then again, one collects all again the bad karma. But one who takes shelter of a pure devotee, what happens is the desire to sin also gradually goes away. That's the difference. So that's how it's said that taking shelter of the pure devotee of the Lord doesn't mean that one should not bathe in the Ganga. She's worshipable, yes, and one should. One gets an opportunity to bathe in the Ganga, one should. She's also a devotee of the Lord. But taking shelter of the pure devotee of the Lord, it's very powerful. That's how we can take shelter of Krishna. Because the pure devotee of the Lord, the spiritual master, the representative of the Lord, because he's already at the shelter of Krishna. So if one can take shelter of such a devotee, automatically one is taking shelter of Krishna. You see an umbrella, something is under the umbrella, and we go under that, so automatically we'll be under the shelter of the umbrella. Prabhupada is saying the terms Vishnupad and Prabhupada, that these devotees who are given these names, they are representatives of God. Means they are pure devotees. They've taken complete shelter of Krishna. They are pure devotees of Krishna, taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. So if we can take shelter of such devotees, then automatically we come under the shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. So the bona fide spiritual master, they are doing confidential service. Now, what is this confidential service?
They help us return back to Godhead, home.
Yes, that's right. This is the confidential service. They are bringing us out of this material world, bringing us out back home, back to Godhead. So they are taking this service on behalf of Krishna, because Krishna wants us, all of us, to come back. That's the reason Krishna comes every time. He gives us spiritual instructions of Bhagavad Gita. He leaves behind Srimad Bhagavatam for us to hear. Because Krishna wants us to go back home, back to Godhead. And his representatives, the bona fide spiritual master, are taking up this work. And that's why they are so dear to Krishna, because they are helping him in his mission. They're taking up his mission. Krishna does not need anyone's help, but the devotees, they are very merciful. They want to also bring everyone back home, back to Godhead. And how does the disciple see himself? The disciple sees himself how?
As a server at the lotus feet of his guru, at this like a service at the lotus feet of the guru.
Yeah, he thinks himself as a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So servant of the devotees, servant of the devotees. And he gives equal respect to his spiritual master and to the Lord. He understands, of course, the spiritual master is not the Lord, of course. He understands that, but he's giving equal respect because the spiritual master is doing this confidential service. He's doing
Is
this
it called
service.
das anudas?
Hmm?
In Hindi terms, this is the das anudas, right? Das anudas.
Dasanudas. Yeah, some
Yeah.
humble servant of the servant. This is how he
Servant.
sees himself.
Okay.
So the disciple, he may be a spiritual master, but he does not look at himself as a spiritual master. He looks at himself as dasanu, 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 das. Yeah, this is how he sees himself. That's the qualification. He doesn't see that, oh, I'm a great spiritual master. No, he sees himself as a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant.
Sorry,
Going
just
on to
one more thing. I think we read in the morning class also that um, all the sinful people go and wash their sins in Ganga, and like then there are so many sins there. And when the pure devotee goes, it washes the sins of Ganga also.
yes, thank you.
In the morning, yeah, in the morning class we read. So sorry, thank you.
Yeah, yes, thank you. That's true. Because Ganga said, if I'm going to take everyone's sins, what's going to happen to me? Well, Krishna says the devotees will come, they will purify you. So wherever the devotees go, all the sins of that place are gone away. Ganga herself gets purified by the pure devotees because they're so pure. Like you touch water and soap anywhere, everything will get washed off. No, the dirt will go away. It's automatic. Right? When you want to clean something, bring it in touch with water and soap. Then it cleans. So Ko va bhagvatastasya
Ko va bhagvatasya
punya shloke dya karmana
punya shloka ingya karmana
shuddhi kamo na shunyad
shuddhi kamo na shrunyata
yasha kali malapaham.
yasha kalimala apaham. Translation: Who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of quarrel? Who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord? Purport: The age of Kali is the most condemned age due to its quarrelsome features. Kali Yuga is so saturated with vicious habits that there is a great fight at the slightest misunderstanding. Those who are engaged in the pure devotional service of the Lord, who are without any desire for self exaggeration and who are freed from the effects of the fruitive action and dry philosophical speculations, are capable of getting out of the estrangements of this complicated age. The leaders of the people are very much anxious to live in peace and friendship, but they have no information of the simple method of hearing the glories of the Lord. On the contrary, such leaders are opposed to the propagation of the glories of the Lord. In other words, the foolish leaders want to completely deny the existence of the Lord. In the name of secular state, such leaders are enacting various plans every year. But by the insurmountable intricacies of the material nature of the Lord, all these plans for the progress are being constantly frustrated. They have no eyes to see that their attempts at peace and friendship are failing. But here is the hint to get over the hurdle. If we want actual peace, we must open the road to understanding of the Supreme Lord Krishna and glorify him for his virtuous activities as they are depicted in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam.
So this age of Kali, what is the vice? What is they saying? What is the vice of this age of Kali in this verse?
People are not
People
willing
want to
to hear
fight.
the virtuous glories of the Lord.
I'm
They
sorry?
just want to fight,
Yes,
even at the
fight.
slightest misunderstanding. They just want to quarrel and fight.
Yeah, quarrelsome. We are very quarrelsome, as you said, no? Slightest misunderstanding, oh, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. We get upset, we throw a tantrum. So it could be on a personal level, it could be on family level, it could be on community level, society level, national level, international level. What we are seeing right now, fighting going on. Yeah. So what is actually the way that we can stop all this and actually bring peace and prosperity in the world?
By glorifying Krishna,
Yes.
and as we say, like Harinam Sankirtan, hearing and
Harinam
chanting.
Sankirtan. Yes. Hearing the glories of God, hearing and glorifying his activities. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Because we may try artificial means, but laws of nature are very intricate. Our artificial means for peace don't work. We have to sit and glorify God, chant the names of God. So whatever faith one may have, one need only to hear how to glorify God as is given to them. Just sit and glorify God. Become God conscious. Each of us need to become God conscious to take away this desire to quarrel from our heart. We have this great desire to quarrel with one another. So when we glorify God, become God conscious, then that can go away. Tasya karmani udarani
Tasya karmani udarani
parigitani suribhi
parigitani surabhi
bruhina shraddha dhananam
bruhina shraddadhananam
leelaya dadatah kala.
leelaya dadattah kalaha. If
We
somebody
can
wants to read,
summarize. Hmm.
Can I read?
Please. So
yes,
we can see now why Bhagavatam has been left behind for us, Bhagavatam, because we just heard in the previous verse, we just need to give submissive hearing eagerly. So now we heard what was the qualification of the hearer?
they should be eager and
Sincere.
sincere and eager. Yes,
Yeah. And the qualification of the speaker?
In the line of disciplic
should come
succession.
in the line of disciplic succession
Yeah. And what does he need to speak?
about Krishna, absolute truth. Only
Glorify
Yes.
his name.
Yes. Thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam, glorifying Krishna, his activities. And what will happen?
there will be peace
Yeah.
in this quarrelsome age of Kali Yuga.
Quarrelsome age of Kali. Thank you. Yes. Please kindly read.
His transcendental acts are magnificent and gracious, and great learned sages like Narad sing of them. Please therefore speak to us who are eager to hear about the adventures he performs in his various incarnations. Purport. The personality of God is never inactive, as some less intelligent persons suggest. His works are magnificent and magnanimous. His creations, both material and spiritual, are all wonderful and contain all variegatedness. They are described nicely by such liberated souls as Srila Narad, Vyasa, Valmiki, Devala, Ashita, Madhva, Sri Chaitanya, Ramanuja, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka, Sri Dhara, Vishwanatha, Baladeva, Bhakti Vinoda, Siddhanta Saraswati, and many other learned and self-realized souls. These creations, both material and spiritual, are full of opulence, beauty, and knowledge, but the spiritual realm is more magnificent due to its being full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. The material creations are manifested for some time as perverted shadows of the spiritual kingdom and can be likened to cinemas. They attract people of less intelligent caliber who are attracted by false things. Such foolish men have no information of the reality, and they take it for granted that the false material manifestation is the all in all. But more intelligent men, guided by sages like Vyasa and Narad, know that the eternal kingdom of God is more delightful, larger, eternally full of bliss and knowledge. Those who are not conversant with the activities of the Lord, his transcendental realm, are sometimes favored by the Lord in his adventures as incarnations wherein he displays the eternal bliss of his association in the transcendental realm. But by such activities, he attracts the conditioned souls of the material world. Some of these conditioned souls are engaged in the false enjoyment of material senses, and others in simply negating their real life in spiritual world. These less intelligent persons are known as karmis or fruitive workers and jnanis or dry mental speculators. But above these two classes of men is the transcendentalist known as sattvata or the devotee who is busy neither with rampant material activity nor with material speculation. He is engaged in positive service of the Lord. Thereby, he derives the highest spiritual benefit
unknown to the karmis and gyanis.
So the acts of the Lord, magnificent and gracious. And he is, so we have to see that they also understand from, they said, right, they want to hear from Sutta Goswami because he's coming in disciplic succession. So all the great devotees of the Lord are singing glories of the Lord. They are saying they are very eager to hear about the pastime, adventures he performs in his various incarnations. So Prabhupada is pointing out that someone may think that God doesn't do anything, that he is just God and he's just there, basically. But no, he's created this material world, he's maintaining the spiritual world, everything is coming from him. There is so much variety, so much variety. So Prabhupada is pointing out, hearing from the devotees, liberated souls. Narad Muni, not ordinary person, no, he's a liberated soul. Yeah, he's traveling everywhere, all over the universe. Why? To deliver fallen souls. Narad Muni, Vyasadev, he's incarnation of God himself. He's compiled all the Vedic literature. Valmiki, also writing the glories of the Lord. Devala, Asita, Madhva, all these are great personalities. Sri Chaitanya, the Lord himself. Ramanuja, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka. These are the acharyas of the Vaishnava Sampradayas. Then great acharyas in our line, Sridhar, Vishwanath, Baladev Vidyabhushan, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. These are all liberated souls. And they are giving us knowledge. They are giving us knowledge about the material world, the spiritual world, and they're giving us knowledge about God. So we need to hear from such self-realized souls, hearing in the discipline succession. So we see the material world is so captivating to us. It's so beautiful. We get so, we are so captivated. We see so much beauty here. Now the spiritual world is even more beautiful, even more magnificent, because it's Satchit Ananda. Satchit Ananda. So this material world is very attractive, but the spiritual world is even more attractive. The spiritual world is temporary. We are thinking we have this identity in whatever body we are right now. We think we are that. But then after some time, we have to give up that body. So our identification in this material world is temporary. Whereas when we are in the spiritual world, we can be in our own real identity. Who we truly are. That's in the spiritual world. And so God comes himself, or he sends his incarnations, or his confidential devotees to give us this information, to invite us, come back home, back to Godhead. Because here we are busy. Some of us are busy wanting to enjoy the material world, thinking this is permanent place. Some of us are busy that we say, oh, I don't want to exist anymore. I just want to merge into the supreme existence. But the devotees, they have the real knowledge, and they are giving us this real knowledge that the real identity is in the spiritual world. The real enjoyment is in the spiritual world. Engage in the service of Krishna and go to the spiritual world. So one may say that, okay, I will engage in Krishna's service here in this world, then I'll go to the spiritual world and I'll become Krishna myself. No, we can never become Krishna. Spiritual, devotional service is eternal. The soul is eternal. Krishna is eternal. Devotional service is eternal. So it continues. After liberation, in fact, is pure devotional service.
As the supreme controller of both the material and spiritual worlds, the Lord has different incarnations of unlimited categories. Incarnations like Brahma, Rudra, Manu, Prithu, and Vyasa are his material qualitative incarnations. But his incarnation like Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, and Vamana are his transcendental incarnations. Lord Sri Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations, and he is therefore the cause of all causes.
So, supreme controller of both material and spiritual world. So Krishna is not only the controller of the material world, he's also controller of the spiritual world. And he comes, his incarnations are, it's said that as many waves of the ocean. We can't even count how many waves of the ocean, unlimited, right? The waves keep coming, going, like this. Krishna's incarnations keep coming and going. Prabhupada is putting a point here. Qualitative incarnations, Guna avatars. Guna avatars. So Brahma and Rudra, they are the Guna avatar. Lord Vishnu, but of course Lord Vishnu is transcendental. Then Manu, Prithu. So these are Shakti Vesha avatar also we can call. That they are empowered by the Lord. But then again, they are his personal incarnations. Rama, Nishima, Varaha, Vamana. They're Vishnu Tattva. Personal expansions. So he has so many incarnations. Sometimes he empowers a living entity to do some specific service, then they are called Shakti-Avesh. And then sometimes he's coming himself in his incarnation, his expansion. But the origin of all incarnations is Krishna, Shyam Sundar Krishna. And that's why he's called cause of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. Krishna is the cause of all causes. This is stated by Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita. And all the Vedas are saying that. All the great authorities are saying. Are there any questions or comments? Or anyone wanted to add anything? Okay.
So many incarnations.
Yeah, we're going to hear more about them.
Yeah.
More how they are different in Manvantaras, and at every incarnation in every Manvantar, and the different types of incarnation.
So you
Yeah.
mentioned Gun Avatar, Vishnu Tattva, and Shakti Vish, right?
Because here Srila Prabhupada is saying material qualitative incarnation. So these are the Shakti Avesh, Manu,
Okay.
Prithu, Vyasa, and Lord Vishnu himself. Even Brahma is Shakti Avesh. He's a Guna avatar. Guna avatar because he controls the modes of passion. Rudra is also Guna avatar. He controls the mode of ignorance. And then the Vishnu Tattvas, Rama, Nishima, Varaha, Vaman. They are God himself. Lord Rama, Lord Nishima, Varaha, Vaman. And so many other incarnations, they are Lord himself. He is expanding himself into these forms. Krishna. Is that okay?
Yes. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
The Prabhupada
Thank
ki
you.
jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Jai.